growing up in a turbulent environment leaves behind more than just a collection of fading memories. It installs a deep-seated operating system, a set of automatic survival instincts and core beliefs that stay active long after the threat has passed. Most people moving through adulthood don't realize that the internal blueprints created during their formative years don't show up as clear recollections. Instead, they manifest as invisible filters through which you see the world. You see it in the way your heart sinks when a friend reschedules, restless guilt that haunts you when you try to relax, or the immediate skepticism you feel when someone offers a genuine word of praise. Welcome to Quiet Pressure Sketchbook, where we explore the hidden architecture of the mind when a child is forced to endure persistent hardship, whether that's the coldness of neglect, the sting of volatility, or simply the absence of a protective presence. Their biology undergoes a fundamental shift. Science refers to this as toxic stress. While ordinary challenges can build resilience, toxic stress is a different beast entirely. It's an internal siren that never stops wailing. This state of constant high alert saturates a child's system with adrenaline and cortisol for extended periods without the soothing presence of a caregiver to turn the alarm off. Research from institutions like Harvard suggests that this environment literally rewires the brain during its most plastic stages. This isn't just about feeling sad. Physical structures responsible for managing emotions and evaluating choices grow differently under this kind of pressure. Tragedy of this transformation is that the child is entirely unaware it's happening. To them, life is simply a chaotic, frightening puzzle they have to solve to survive, and they get incredibly creative at solving it. Survival strategies are actually brilliant adaptations for a small person with zero autonomy. Perhaps they become hyper-vigilant, constantly reading the room and studying every micro-expression for a hint of incoming trouble. Maybe they take on the role of the family diplomat, developing a supernatural ability to diffuse tension before it explodes, or they might master the art of invisibility, shrinking into the background, so they are never a target. On Quiet Pressure Sketchbook, we often see how these good behaviors are actually masks for self-preservation. Some children become experts at meeting every demand of the people around them, entirely losing touch with their own identity. In the process, for a kid trapped in a situation they can't change, these tactics are life-saving. They are the armor that gets you to the other side of childhood. However, the armor that protects the child often becomes a prison for the adult. That watchful eye for danger evolves into a relentless buzzing anxiety. You find yourself unable to let your guard down because your nervous system is convinced that peace is just a trap. The need to fix others turns into a compulsive habit of managing everyone's world except your own. The childhood disappearing act transforms into a profound sense of numbness. You feel like a stranger to your own desires. It is crucial to understand that identifying these patterns isn't about pointing fingers or clinging to labels. It's about decoding the why behind the struggles that feel so random and overwhelming in your daily life. There is the heavy weight of shame, which is perhaps the most corrosive legacy of all. A young brain isn't developed enough to realize that a caregiver's failure isn't a reflection of the child's worth. Children are naturally self-centered. They assume the world reacts to them. So if the world is cruel or empty, the child concludes that they must be fundamentally flawed. They believe that if they were just more perfect, more quiet, or more helpful, they would be loved. This isn't guilt which says, "I made a mistake." This is shame which whispers, "I am a mistake." While guilt can be a teacher, shame is an anchor that prevents any real growth because it attacks the very core of your being. Extensive studies on adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, have provided a roadmap for this impact. By tracking over 17,000 individuals, researchers found a direct link between early trauma and long-term hurdles. It's not just about mental health. those who survived difficult beginnings are statistically more likely to face physical illness, relationship friction, and financial instability decades later. From chronic pain to addiction, the echoes of a rough childhood can resonate for 40 years or more. Yet this data isn't a life sentence. Understanding the research behind Quiet Pressure Sketchbook helps explain the glitches in your system, but it doesn't define your destination. Your brain possesses the incredible ability to forge new connections throughout your entire life. Healing is possible, though it is a rigorous process that often requires the guidance of a professional. These patterns rarely show up as cinematic flashbacks. They appear in the mundane moments. Tuesday afternoon, it's the sudden jolt of electricity in your chest when you see a "can we talk" text. It's the way a minor error at work feels like an impending catastrophe. It's the waiting for the other shoe to drop feeling that ruins a perfectly calm day. You might find that rest feels like a threat rather than a recovery. You might obsessively replay a 3-minute conversation, 3 hours searching for the moment you failed. These reactions seem irrational to onlookers, and even to you, but they are perfectly logical when you realize your nervous system is still using an old map where small signals meant massive consequences. Your body is simply trying to fill in the blanks of a quiet life with the loud dangers of the past. It's not that you're broken. It's that your internal software is overdue for an update. Many survivors find themselves unconsciously seeking out the same chaos they grew up with because it feels familiar. Stability can feel boring or even suspicious, so they drift toward unpredictable partners or high-stress environments where their survival skills are actually useful. Alternatively, they might become rigidly controlling, terrified that any spark of spontaneity will lead to a fire they can't put out. This is often accompanied by emotional flashbacks, tense waves of fear or smallness that hit you without an accompanying memory. You feel like a terrified child again, but you don't know why, so you start looking for reasons in your current life to justify the feeling, often creating problems where none existed. The path to recovery isn't a straight line, and it certainly isn't easy. It requires the exhausting work of identifying these ancient habits, honoring why they were once necessary, and then choosing a different path over and over again. It means teaching your body that safety is no longer a luxury but a reality. It involves accepting that your needs are valid and that you deserve care simply because you are here. The child you were didn't fail. They survived an impossible situation with remarkable strength. But it is finally time for that child to rest. It is time for the adult you've become to take the wheel. Taking on this healing journey is perhaps the most difficult, yet most rewarding mission you will ever undertake. If these insights resonate with your journey, please subscribe to the channel. To help us continue creating these deep dives, consider clicking the join button to become a member of the Quiet Pressure Sketchbook community. I truly value your support.